Rajasthan is very famous for its historical forts, palaces, art, and culture. Apart from that, Rajasthan is also known for one of the largest literature festivals, biggest literature festivals of the world, called as Jaipur Literature Festival, an annual affair which began in 2006. And since then, it has been an amalgamation or a melting pot of literary hearts and minds of people around the world. Okay, there are discussions, there are parties, there are so many things in this gathering. Now, why do I talk about it? I have been to Jaipur Literature Festival many a times, and I have met William Dalrymple there. William Dalrymple, a historian, is a co-founder and a co-director of this festival. और विलियम डैलरिम्पल का आज एक क्वेश्चन है राजस्थान सेट में, इसीलिए सोचा बता देती हूँ. Hello, how are you today? This is Hina from Team TES, and I hope that you have heard my information regarding the rapid courses that TES is about to start. These rapid courses are beginning specially to help you with Rajasthan set and Maharashtra set. Precise lecture notes, precise quizzes, everything, but enough to help you clear these exams. Okay? Now, any details, you can contact our office on the number 93878-39871. हम चालू करते हैं आज के 15 question answers with lot of fun and important information, right? Rapid. Question number 1. Dryden's All for Love was written in imitation of Shakespeare's All for Love ने किस work को imitate किया? Your options are A. Antony and Cleopatra, B. Romeo and Juliet, C. The Merchant of Venice, or D. Twelfth Night. You know it, it's an easy one. All for Love is an imitation of option A, Antony and Cleopatra. अभी All for Love की बात करें तो इसका पूरा title है All for Love or the World Well Lost, a 1677 heroic tragedy which focuses on the last hours of the lives of Antony and Cleopatra. लेकिन अभी Dryden एकदम copycat नहीं हो सकते थे, इसीलिए he definitely changed few things in this work. For example, he invented new characters. Second, he wrote a fictional meeting between Cleopatra and Octavia. Who's Octavia? The wife of Antony. Yes? And of course, many more, a few other things here and there, which makes this work different. Now, a fact about Dryden, he was the first poet laureate of England, okay? Appointed in the year 1668. Good enough? आगे बढ़े. Question number 2. Quote, poetry thus makes immortal all that is best and most beautiful in the world. Who said this? किसने poetry की तारीफ की? जितनी भी चीजें best हैं उसको वो immortal बना देगी. Your options are A. P.B. Shelley, B. S.T. Coleridge, C. William Wordsworth, or D. John Keats. Who said it? It is by P.B. Shelley, a major English romantic poet, जिनका lifespan बहुत थोड़ा सा था, just 29 years, lived from 1792 to 1822. Now, Shelley wrote an essay called as A Defense of Poetry, a defense of poetry of the year 1821. In this work, he has revered poets as creative, divine. They are dreamers. They have a mystical attitude, etc., etc. And just in this work, A Defense of Poetry, he has said about poetry these lines. Okay, आगे बढ़े. Question number 3. According to which school of thought, the critic ought to be considered to create the finished work by his or her reading of it, and not to remain simply an inert consumer of a ready-made product. मतलब कौन सा स्कूल ऑफ थॉट है जो कहता है कि जो रीडर है ना वही है जो कि एक फिनिश्ड वर्क को क्रिएट करता है, वो सिर्फ कंज्यूमर नहीं है इस रेडीमेड प्रोडक्ट का. रेडीमेड प्रोडक्ट मतलब टेक्स्ट. So which school of thought gives very, very, very much importance to the reader, the audience, or the critic? आंसर ही आ गया यार इसमें तो. ऑप्शंस फिर भी दे देती हूँ. ऑप्शन ए पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म, बी न्यू हिस्टोरिसिज्म, सी रीडर रिस्पॉन्स थ्योरी, और डी डायलॉजिज्म. Obviously, the answer is option C, reader response theory. Abhi, this theory is of the late 1960s and it focuses more on the reader and audience and very less on the text. Okay. This theory states that a text gets its meanings only when a reader reads it. Okay. Reader is the creator of the text. The author is dead, obviously. Now, the main theorists of this theory are Stanley Fish, David Blake, and Wolfgang Iser. Perfect. Let's move on to question number 4. Timber or discoveries made upon men and matter is a critical work of. Timber या discoveries किसका work है? On option A, Thomas More, B, Ben Jonson, C, Thomas Kidd, or D, Henry Howard. Who is it? It is option B, Ben Jonson, a very fine Elizabethan poet, right? He lived from 1572 to 1637. Now, he wrote this play called as Timber, which was published posthumously in the year 1640, right? Now, it contains Ben Jonson's observations in poetry, drama, translations, quotations, his discussions on early modern writers like Shakespeare, Spencer, and Sidney. इसीलिए इस काम का नाम रखा गया है डिस्कवरीज मेड अपॉन men and matter. अभी इतना सब कुछ डिस्कस किया गया है तो I feel it's like a miscellaneous work of Ben Jonson, right? Good enough? आगे बढ़ते हैं. Question number 5. Aporia is a term used by option A, Derrida, B, Paul de Man, C, Jonathan Miller, or D, J. Hillis Miller. Aporia is a term by, actually, you know, iska question hoche, Aporias is a book written by, the answer is A, Jacques Derrida. See, Derrida wrote a book, you can see it here, Aporias, in French, which was later translated into English. In this book, he asks a basic question. The question is, my death, is it possible? My death, is it possible? Now, here he says that death is an aporitic experience. Ab kaise hai aporitic experience? I am the closest to my death. Obviously, which thing is closest to us? Our death. It is our property. No, death is my property. Yet, its experience can never be fully mine. Because experience के लिए तो आपको वहाँ रहना पड़ेगा ना. Boss, today I can experience happiness when I see my child walking. I can experience sadness when there is something sad going around me. Abhi, to experience death, I have to die. And when I die, will I experience it? No, na. तो ये बड़ा ही aporitic experience हो गया, right? Easy. तो अब इस concept को philosophy में ले आए. What is aporia? Well, it is that irreversible internal contradiction within a text, the state of puzzlement or a difficulty in a passage. That is called aporia. Yeah. And look at Derrida on the screen. You know, I was checking out his photos on Google, and when I choose note key, all his photographs are like this. He's giving a side glance. What is it, sir? What are you thinking? Huh? Let's move on. Question number 6. आ गया, William Dalrymple. Which of the following pieces of travel writing is by William Dalrymple? Option A, India Unbound. B, In Xanadu, A Quest. C, The Grand Tour. Or D, The Great Railway Bazaar. कौन सा work है by William Dalrymple? The answer is option B, In Xanadu, A Quest. And I've taken this photograph actually when he is sitting at Jaipur Literature Festival. I know it from the background. Yes? Okay, look at the cover, okay? Now let me tell you, William Dalrymple primarily is an art historian, okay? And this book is a 1989 travel book in which he talks about Marco Polo. Abhi, who was Marco Polo? He was a Venetian merchant and an explorer. So William Dalrymple talks about Marco Polo's journey from Jerusalem to Shangdu, or famously called as Xanadu in Mongolia. Okay, Mongolia, China, right? Easy, simple. Let's move on to question number 7. Which of the following is not correct? Option A, 1957, Harold Pinter, The Birthday Party. It is true because Harold Pinter wrote The Birthday Party in 1957, so option A correct. B, 1960, Harold Pinter, The Caretaker. ये भी एकदम सही है. The Caretaker was published in the year 1960. C. 1964 Harold Pinter The Homecoming, ये भी सही है. अब भी option D देखो, 1985 Harold Pinter gets the Nobel Prize. No. Option absolutely wrong. When did he receive the Nobel Prize in Literature? In the year 2005. And look at him with that award. Well, we know Harold Pinter was a modern British dramatist who lived from 1930 to 2008. Okay, और ये सारे works थे important works by Pinter. This takes us to question number 8. Elizabeth Barrett Browning's poem, The Cry of the Children, is concerned with the issue of, tell me, what is the issue discussed in the poem, The Cry of the Children? Your options are A, colonial rule, B, child labor, C, women's rights, or D, Victorian Orthodox views. You know it. It's a very beautiful, very heart-touching poem. The answer is option B, child labor. Look at Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Well, a 19th century English Victorian poet who lived from 1806 to 1861. She was the wife of Robert Browning. Abhi, The Cry of the Children, as we know, talks about child labor, and I've taken out few lines of this poem because I love this poem. तो मैंने कहा थोड़ी लाइनें एक साथ बोलते हैं. Let me read them to you. Alas, the wretched children, they are seeking death in life as best to have. They are binding up their hearts away from breaking with a cerement from the grave. Go out, children, from the mine and from the city. Sing out, children, as the little thrushes do. Nice. Let's move on to question number 9. In the book Culture and Anarchy, the word Philistines is used for the Culture and Anarchy by Matthew Arnold. You know him, a 19th century English poet, often referred as a sage poet. कौन होते हैं sage poets? Who, direct, who dictate कि ऐसा करना है, ऐसा नहीं करना है. They are sage poets. So basically, Culture and Anarchy में Philistine word is used for. Your options are A, working class, B, aristocracy, C, middle class, or D, upper class. Batao. It is for option C, middle class. Look at the book cover. Well, this is a book of 1869 in which Arnold says that culture is a study of perfection and culture is a way out of our present difficulties. And he says that Philistines are these middle class who are absolutely materialistic, okay? And they have to do nothing with art, culture. Sirf materialism, survival. That is what Philistines or the middle class, as discussed by Arnold in his work Culture and Anarchy, is all about. Okay, let's move on to question number 10. Who among the following is odd one out? Odd one out, okay? Option A, Moll Flanders, B, Colonel Jacques, C, Gulliver's Travels, or D, Robinson Crusoe. ये तो बड़ा आसान है यार. Obviously, it is Gulliver's Travels. Well, the other three works, Moll Flanders, Colonel Jacques, and Robinson Crusoe, they were written by Daniel Defoe. Daniel Defoe, an English writer of the adventure genre, lived from 1660 to 1731. और Gulliver's Travels किसने लिखी? Dr. Jonathan Swift. अब चलिए question number 11 में swiftly. The Personal is Political is an essay written by, this essay named The Personal is Political is by, your options are A, Betty Friedan, B, Carol Hanisch, C, Sylvia Plath, or D, Alice Walker. बताइए, The Personal is Political is by Carol Hanisch, the lady here on the screen. Well, Carol is a radical feminist activist of America. Born in the year 1942, she is 81 years old. Abhi, The Personal is Political is her 1969 essay on feminism. In this work, she states, number 1, women's personal issues like sex, abortion, childcare, not being content at home are not personal. ये सारे issues women के personal नहीं हैं. They are political. They need political intervention, okay? If you want the society to change and improve for the better. The second thing she discusses is women's therapy groups in America are not apolitical. Do not call them unimportant. Do not call them useless. These therapy groups are deeply political because they are discussing issues which affect the lives of women due to the organization of the system. Okay. And third thing she discusses is she urges the females to be more confident, less self-blaming, and collectively they should come together and oppose the male domination in the society. Okay. तो easily समझ लीजिए, जो पर्सनल है वो पॉलिटिकल है, जो भी मेरे पर्सनल इश्यूज हैं वो सिर्फ मेरे नहीं है, वो पॉलिटिकल है. Okay, that is the gist. Let's move on to question number 12. Who wrote the famous poems The Death of the Hired Man, West Running Brook, Mending Wall? ये तीनों पोम्स किसने लिखी हैं? मेंडिंग वॉल से तो समझ गए होगे ना, इतनी बढ़िया, ये तो अपन ने स्कूल में पढ़ी है. ऑप्शन ए रॉबर्ट ब्राउनिंग, बी रॉबर्ट फ्रॉस्ट, सी रॉबर्ट ग्रेव्स, डी रॉबर्ट लोवेल. मतलब इन्होंने सोचा कि ये सिर्फ रॉबर्ट रॉबर्ट दे देंगे तो हम कंफ्यूज हो जाएंगे. बिल्कुल कंफ्यूज नहीं होंगे. द आंसर इज ऑप्शन ए Robert Frost. Look at him on the screen. Young Robert Frost, old Robert Frost. And you know him, he was an early 20th century American poet. And इनकी जो writing है, it is basically colloquial speech about rural life, setting mostly in New England in the United States. Okay? अभी एक fact about Robert Frost. He is the only poet to receive 4 times Pulitzer Prize for Poetry. 4 बार किसी को अवार्ड मिले तो महान है आप, right? Let's move on to question number 13. Albert Corde is the protagonist in which of the following novels by Saul Bellow? Albert Corde कौन से नॉवल में आते हैं? Your options are A. Mr. Samler's Planet, B. Humboldt's Gift, C. The Dean's December, or D. The Victim. क्या है आंसर? Albert Corde is seen in option C, The Dean's December, a 1982 novel by Saul Bellow, who was a 20th century American writer. Little bit I'll tell you about The Dean's December. It tells the story of Albert Corde. He's a well-educated academic, and he goes to his wife's native country, which is communist. Here he observes the ways of a totalitarian government, and he actually learns a great deal about human condition. So this is an insightful novel. Okay, look at that cover on the screen. Saul Bellow, The Dean's December. Okay, national bestseller by the winner of the Nobel Prize. This takes us to question number 14. Which of the following works was adapted into a play in the 1980s by Usha Ganguli, a leading theatre director from Kolkata? कौन सा काम है जिसको उषा गांगुली ने direct किया? Okay, she adapted it and she directed it. Option A, Sarat Chandra's Chandranath, B, Tara Sankar Bandopadhyay's Ganadevta, C, Vimal Mitra's Mahanagar, or D, Mahashweta Devi's Rudali. It's easy. It's actually option D, Mahashweta Devi's Rudali. And look at ma'am Usha Ganguli ji on the screen. Well, she was an Indian theatre actor, initially an actor and then turned to direction. She was also a feminist activist, okay? Now, she started a theatre group called as Rang Karmi, right? Now, from 1980s onwards, as I told you, she shifted towards direction. And in the year 1992, she directed Rudali by Mahashweta Devi, but definitely with her own dramatized version, okay? Now, a fact about Usha Ganguli, she was awarded with the Sangeet Natak Academy Award for Direction. Okay? और इसी के साथ हम आ जाते हैं last question of the day. Match the following correctly. अभी इधर few authors have been given and दूसरी list में list 1 has the writers, list 2 has their works. Okay? So you have to tell me who has written what. I will directly tell you the answer. That will make it super duper easy. So let's count. The answer is A, which means E.M. Foster has written a novel called A Passage to India. Nirad C. Chaudhary has written a book called as A Passage to England. Santha Rama Rao, the play written by him is A Passage to India. While R. Parthasarathi has written Rough Passage. Abhi dekho, you have to learn this, huh? A Passage to India novel is by E.M. Foster, but A Passage to India play is by Santha Rama Rao. ओके, सेम सेम नाम होते हैं, कितनी चीजें याद करें बाबा, है ना? But then we must, and slowly, slowly we'll win the race because Rome was not built in a day, right? Work consistently, work every day. Do not overthink, just let it be and enjoy the moment. Don't forget, it's your life, it is worth living. Do not live under pressure. It's my personal experience. Pressures won't help. Your beauty of life will come to you, okay? Whatever you're perfect at will come to you eventually because life wants you to work. Life does not want anyone to be wasted, okay? Just believe and be happy in the moment and keep working hard. And most important, consistent. ऐसा नहीं एक दिन पढ़ा 3 दिन छोड़ दिया. No, be consistent and you will reach there. Okay, chaliye, this is Hina from Team TES and it was lovely being with you. I'll come again tomorrow with another 15 questions to help you with Rajasthan set. If you need any help, detailed help by our mentor, Dr. Kalyani Vallath ma'am, you know, she has her lecture notes, she has her live classes, her revision, like her recorded lectures, and they are so, so beautiful. They are a jewel, okay? What she has given, the information she's given in all of her notes, all of her lectures is incredible. So if you need any help regarding NET or SET or other exams in English, you can contact Tess on the number 9387839871. अब मैं जाती हूँ और कल मिलते हैं. बाय बाय.